Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast. This is episode number 94, coming at you recorded live. Dennis Talbot, Alan Tate, and me, Bill Algie. We have to take two takes on this because somebody on the show, me, made some very inappropriate comment a few minutes ago that one of the very few comments that we've decided had to be cut out. So
no, that's one of two, and I was the other one that did that.
Yeah, so there you go. Alan's turn next. Anyway, so tonight's show, we are going to stick with an October theme of the, recognizing the dead. Well, let's go with that. And we're going to talk about some of the artists this year that have passed away and give a little shout out about our favorite songs and kind of a little bit about each one of them. Thought it'd be fun. Now, that comes from last night I was having a drink with a buddy of mine at a bar in Columbus, and his name is Mazen Jaliwala, and I'm not joking. And
there's a joke in there somewhere.
I introduced him to the podcast last night, so I will have to make sure he knows that he better be watching the podcast or listening to it because his name's on there.
Is he still going to be your friend after that or not?
Yeah. I don't know. Really, as long as he just takes me and buys me drinks, it's okay. I don't really care. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so we were talking about it, and we were talking about guys that had passed away and what artists that we really like and what songs and who would you go back and see. And so I thought it would be a good idea to let's talk about some of the guys that passed away this year so far. And just our favorite songs of theirs and a little bit about their music. So that's what we're going to do tonight. But first, I think okay. Before we get started, these two knuckleheads went to some shows this week, right?
Well, it's been two or 3 weeks since I went.
We're gonna bring you a little update. Alan, we talked about it on the show, though. I'm pretty sure we did a little bit. Gave a little
talk about it again.
No, we haven't talked about it.
So I think we talked about it for a minute. Anyway, so Alan went to see Bruno Mars. So we're gonna go with a pop theme for the very beginning of the show, and it's gonna be very short. Go talk about your experience at Bruno Mars.
The Bruno Mars concert was really, really good. I was surprised. I mean, there are a few Bruno Mars songs that I like, but they put on a stage show. I mean, if you're one of those that like the stage show and the moving around and all of that stuff, they deliver. The light show was probably the best light show I've ever seen, ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic. And as a sound and light guy, whoever put that together, they earned their money.
Yeah. So you're not doing those kind of shows. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not a light guy. Not a light guy at all. I'm going to put up some LED lights and, maybe make them flash or something.
A smoke machine here or there you get from a Halloween store.
I hate those smoke machines. Those things stink.
They smell so bad.
But anyway, yeah, my wife and I went to that. We stayed. It was at the Yum Center, the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. We stayed in the hotel across the street, which was really nice because, we basically stayed in the hotel until it was time for the doors to open. We walked across the street, went to the show. When the show was over, walked across the street and went to bed. So by like 11 o'clock, we were out.
That's exciting.
It
sounds
is
like
exciting. We actually, we got there early enough in the day that we did a little walking around in that area down there. And we went to, I believe the name of the restaurant was Whiskey Merle's. And they served some of the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life.
Huh? And whiskey? And they have whiskey too.
Yep. But it was funny because, you think fried chicken, you think it's going to take a while for your food to get out. But, I mean, I'm sure they already had it cooked, but they were right out there with the fried chicken. We ate it, everything was good. And they're like, would you like it was vanilla ice cream on a big ass chocolate chip cookie with some bourbon on it. They're like,
Yes,
would you
please.
like that? And I was like, oh yeah, we'll take one.
Take one.
You know, so I'm thinking she's gonna walk back there and go get it and come right back out with it. We waited longer for that damn cookie than we did for the chicken.
Oh, they made the cookie fresh.
They made that cookie fresh in a little iron skillet. And I was just like, if it didn't take so long, we would have 2 of these.
Cool.
But yeah. Now, there was, going back to the Bruno Mars concert, there was, I can't remember the name of it, Dua Lipa, I believe. Some girl opened up. It was a British girl. I'd never heard of her before. The best part about her was she's got a potty mouth. I bet she dropped the F-bomb 15 times.
Really?
You know, yeah.
I bet there are a lot of proud parents out there with their kids.
Hey, Bruno was dropping the F-bomb too. So
Was he really?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Bruno.
Must have got that from Chad Kroger. That's. I tell you, Chad Kroger's. I've never heard anybody cuss more in a concert than him in my entire life.
No, Dave Grohl does quite a bit.
No.
Dave,
I'm telling you.
Well, if you want to go to a concert where the singer cusses,
if you were in the band Nickelback, wouldn't you be cursing all the time too?
well, hold on a second, Dennis. If you want to go see a band that likes to cuss at the audience, go see Puddle of Mud. After Wes gets out of jail.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've seen some of the video. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dennis, let's see. You had a similar experience, right, with a pop band? But how was the light show? Was it a good light show?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I mean,
Stage
seriously.
setup was great.
Well, there was one dude up there.
The drum.
So you,
Wait, there were the
So
drums.
we went-
There were no drums.
so we went to
I'm
Nashville.
just busting his balls.
We went to Nashville this weekend, and my wife, she's been wanting to see Ed Sheeran. So we went on StubHub, got really overpriced tickets, and had nice seats, though, real good seats. I mean, I sent you guys pictures. I was right in front of the stage, right behind the soundboard. Did like that part about it. We got down there. We went down early that morning. Kelly got a really bad stiff neck that morning, had a catch in her neck, so she was
got
all
what?
jacked up. A catch in her neck. She was all
stiff
jacked.
neck. Okay.
She was
Just wasn't
jacked
sure.
up. Big time. So we actually went to the scorecard and had lunch on our way down there. When we got down there, the place we ate at the down by the Rock and Pod Expo, that place there, and had lunch. And we went into CVS, bought a heating pad, and then she went back to the hotel and laid there with her neck all jacked up. Then we went downtown. Nashville was an absolute circus Saturday.
It always is a circus.
It always is a circus, and it was a Saturday night, and you have a sold out Ed Sheeran show. So they're right on the strip, you know. It's like, oh my! I mean, it was. So we go into the stage. This is one of the bars I like. It's on the north side.
It's good. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ones to go into, and it's funny. I've been in there 3 times in the last year, and it's the same fucking band every time I walk in. How does that happen? And I know they changed.
Is that called a
Did they
house
change-
band?
Well, no, they changed.
That's weird on a Saturday
Like,
night because they
yeah.
usually play different people. I thought.
We went in about 5:30 or so, and it was like late afternoon. I mean, and they're good. They're a good band, but I was like, that's the same fucking band I saw last time, same bunch. But anyway, they're good because that place there is not really country. They do country, but then they do some country rock too. I mean, they do some stuff. So it's a little bit. That's why I like going in there. But it was just, I mean, packed to the gills. Everybody, it's 5:00 in the afternoon. And everybody's just shit faced drunk. And so Kel's like, she's freaked out thinking that somebody's going to bump her and it's going to jolt her head, and she's all jacked up, So we walked outside and went.
Okay. So the game today is take a drink every time Dennis says jacked up, because we would all be jacked up if that was the game today.
So we walked out, made a left, we got jacked up. No. So anyway, we walked down the street, came back up the other side of the street, got back up there, and Kelly's like, it's got to be close to time to go in. And I'm like, it's 5:30, 5:45. The show didn't start till 7:30. So we walked around and did some other things, and we found there's a place right across the street, the Palm, which is the restaurant for I think it's the Sheraton or the Hilton right there across the street. So we go in there, and we're drinking $7 beers. So we went from $5.50 beers at the stage to $7 beers at the Palm. And then we, of course, go into the stadium, and then they're $12. So I had 2 of those. But anyway, we go in there, and of course we go up there and get into the thing, and I mean, they were security wise, it was tight. Go ahead.
I have to ask you a question.
Sure.
Since there was no drummer, there was no drum solo. What did you do for your pee break?
I just got up and walked up.
Well, it was a guitar solo for an hour and a half, so pee at your own risk.
No, so anyway, we go in there, and as soon as we get in there, of course, we find out that the opener is James Blunt. I don't know who that guy is. I had no idea.
I know who that guy is.
Oh,
Yeah, Kelly was like, "Oh my gosh, I like him." Well, I knew one song, that Beautiful or whatever his song is. So I knew one song by him.
That's all anybody knows.
But he actually had a band. They had a band and pianos and drums, and I'm like going, this isn't too bad. I'm going to enjoy tonight. So then they get done and they clear the stage, and I can tell that they get these big video screens. It kind of looks like a carousel. It's really cool looking. I'm like, man, it's going to be cool. And they clear off the stage and they get all the stuff up, and then it's like, all right, they're not setting up another drum set. They're not setting up another guitar amp. Wait. There's nothing out there but two mics. What's going on here? Then this kind of Danny Bonaducci kind of red-haired, kind of chubby looking sweaty guy comes out. I'm like, this is it?
I think somebody sent you a text message that says, prepare to be underwhelmed.
Yes. So we're watching this thing, and I'm telling you what, the Bridgestone was completely packed. I mean, they even had seats behind the stage. I mean, it was totally full to the hilt. I actually we had seats 1 and 2 on the row, and I ended up having to sit. Actually, I kind of stood out because nobody sat down the whole show when he came out. So I kind of stood in the aisle actually because it was so crowded in there. The seats are really bad there, man. My ass is hitting both sides as I slide down into it. It's like, yeah, it's big ass. So anyway, he starts playing, and I'm like going, what's all this music coming from? And I'm like going, he's using back this. I go, and I'm thinking to myself, because I didn't know nothing about Ed Sheeran. I don't even know his music. I knew 2 songs that he did, because one of them our band actually played, so I knew that song. But the whole time I'm like going, and then I even told Kelly, I was like, Kelly, I said, what's that? You remember this point in the show? She goes, what do you mean? I said, just remember this point in the show. She's like, okay. And then later she's like, well, why did you? I said, because he was playing guitar and then he just stops and then the shit just keeps playing. And I said, I don't know if he's playing what or whatever. I said, he's got all these backing tapes. And I go, this is the biggest, most expensive karaoke show I've ever been to in my life. And I was like, this is the most. And the fact that then every time he stopped, the crowd was so loud, dude. I shit you not. I had to actually, every time that we stopped, and he would try to, he said, you guys are the loudest crowd I've ever had. Let's see if we can get louder. And I had to put my fingers in my ears, dude, because it was so loud. I mean, I've seen AC/DC. I've seen all these people, Kiss, numerous times. Never had a concert that loud. Plus, his music was super loud for one dude. He's out there. So then we get out, and I tell Kelly about that, and she's like, well, no, he uses these things. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I go home the next day, and then I'm talking to Rod. He's like, yeah, he does this looping stuff. And I'm like, he goes, check it out on YouTube. So I went on to YouTube, and of course, he's got a tutorial where he shows how he does it, puts these songs together. So I got a little bit more respect for him after watching that, but I still don't, I want to see a band. I like James. James Blunt was a good show because there was an actual band playing in front of me. But no, I was like, I don't get it. I just don't quite. But I tell you what, there was 20,000 people in that place that got it. They got it.
There was 19,999 people in there that enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there was. Yeah.
I bet there wasn't. I bet you weren't the only one.
You're probably correct.
I bet there were other people in there going, I paid how much money to watch one dude use a computer to play music?
But I guess it was what it was, and it wasn't terrible. I mean, I enjoyed it better than I would have a country show. I would have. Matter of fact, a friend of mine on Facebook, David Reed, he listens to our show. So Dave, he made a comment. He's like, took one for the team. He said, look, he says, I feel for you. He says, I got to go see Georgia-Florida line this weekend. I go, stay tough, because
it's the Nickelback of country music.
Oh my God. So anyway, but yeah, it was. And then we came out and we were going to go to the bars. And after just hearing screaming for that long and the crowd that we were dealing with and just people, I said, let's just go. So we ended up going back to the hotel and come back and we just hit it. I was asleep. So that was my evening. So just like Alan, we had to take a little shuttle ride back to we stayed at the airport. That was the closest place we could find a room that wasn't $900 a night, and we found one. Kelly found two downtown. One was $750, one was $825. I'm like going, ain't having it.
I've stayed in some really nice hotels before, and I've never stayed in one that was worth that. I don't know what it would be.
No,
I have no idea.
If it costs more than my house payment, it's not worth it. For one night,
Four Seasons. I've stayed at the Fairmont. I've stayed at never been one. All right, let's get rolling. All right, so
let's go.
We're going
wait, before we do, got something real quick in the mail. Sorry, got something new in the mail today.
Well, hurry up.
I got this today.
It's a expensive book of pictures.
It's Lynn Goldsmith's new book that just came out. It's she's a photographer that did stuff with Kiss from 1977 to 1980. I haven't yet. I could. Do you want me to?
No, you don't have to now. I'm just asking you. Are you going to open it?
Oh, of course I am. Yes. I just got it today.
It's not going to be worth any money.
Who gives a shit? I buy stuff to look at. So anyway, it says here $55
we know.
US, $75 Canada. Got this on Amazon for $38 shipped to my house. So yeah, it's
from Canada.
I don't know where it's from. No, I said American money or Canada 75. But anyway, I'm gonna open it up at some point here, and I'm gonna look at it. I just haven't had a chance. I just got home. I told you I work. Let me open it real quick.
Nope. No.
Okay. I'll open it this week and then show it to you next week. How's that?
That'd be great.
But anyway, it's a thick book. That's a big ass book for $38.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about the size of your ass.
I was going to say the same thing.
No, actually, it's a little smaller. All right, so let's do this.
All right, so what we're going to do is talk about our some people that have passed away this year, some artists, and then kind of what our favorite songs are, and a little bit about them if we know anything about them. So I looked up the list. There's actually been a lot of people that have passed away. So we picked I don't know what, six people. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know.
I was like, yes. Didn't Prince die this? And it was like, no, that was last year.
It's like, did you forget Prince?
David Bowie? No, that was last year.
There you go. I think we're to the age though where we've talked about this before. I think we're going to be able to do this every year because
probably do it every week.
Could be, All right, so we're going to start with we'll start with Chester Bennington, who passed away on July 20th. He was the lead singer for Linkin Park. And a very good friend of one of the other people we're going to talk about. My understanding is Dennis and Alan are not Linkin Park fans. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct, actually. And I really, other than to go on to look at Spotify and find out what their number one song was, that's not nice to him or nice to the fans. So I don't listen to Linkin Park. Just don't really. They're kind of off my radar. Don't know much about them. So I can't really reply to that one. So,
and I'm sure that if I heard their radio hit or their radio hits, I would know the song.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll save the day. There are actually two songs that I do listen to, but the one I wrote down on my list was 2007 from the album Minutes to Midnight is What Have I Done? It's kind of starts out kind of slow, and then it's got this really big kind of big drum thing going on, and they're okay, but to me their music kind of gets to where it sounds a lot repetitive, but not
well.
Bad,
maybe now that I'll take your recommendations, and now maybe I'll go back and listen to it and maybe get
it's pretty. Like I said, it's I have that song and I have another song, and I have to look it up because I didn't write it down because I'm not that familiar with it. So we'll just move right along. How's that?
Okay.
So we'll go to the next one is actually friend of Chester's, which was Chris Cornell from Soundgarden and Audioslave, who passed away on May 18th. I definitely have more songs of Soundgarden and Audioslave than I have of Linkin Park. But my favorite Soundgarden song is "Fell on Black Days." I just think that is a cool song.
Right.
It's definitely a little bit slower song, but it's got a good groove. I don't know, and I think I didn't look up to see who wrote the song, but I'm sure I don't know if Chris Cornell had, but that it's just got a really kind of a cool groove to it, and it's easy to listen to, and then it kind of rocks a little bit, and that's my favorite Soundgarden song anyway.
Spoon Man would be my favorite Soundgarden song.
Yeah, I like that too, though. Yeah.
Well, you know
I
what?
gotcha.
What's funny? That came out when I lived in Colorado, and the local radio station, when the album that Spoon Man is on came out, they had a listening party, and if you were a certain number caller to the radio station, you got a CD with the radio edit and the regular edit of that song. You got to go to the CD listening party or whatever. So I took a friend with me. Some guy come in there and he was all excited because Soundgarden was his favorite band and he was going to get to meet him and everything. And they're not here, dude. That dude was pissed.
Wow.
I thought that the bouncers were going to have to drag him out of there because he was coming unhinged. Because it was his understanding that the band was going to be there, and that's what he had won.
It was all jacked up, right?
He was all jacked up. It was funny as hell.
Pre-drink on that one.
Yeah. But Fell on Black Days is also that one, and Outshine are my three top Soundgarden songs. I just picked three.
Yeah. No, that look was. I hear somebody mowing the grass. It's pitch black outside. I mean, it's like, what the hell? Sorry, just shocking. Dennis, what do you got?
Okay, for Chris Cornell, I as far as Soundgarden, Rusty Cage, I like that song a lot. I think that's his stuff. I like the guitar lick in it, but just his voice in that's really kick-ass. Just a couple honorable mentions real quick. The Black Hole Sun. If you listen to that song with earphones on and you really get into it, there is a lot. He sings these, almost screams it in the background, and very right. It's kind of underlaying the music and underneath his voice. But I don't know how many times that he had to sing that, but it's a really cool thing. And if you're, like I said, if you ever get, I remember I had that on a Walkman years ago, and was driving down the road. I'm like going, what are those sounds? It's like, oh my God, it's him, screaming. If you look at, I also looked at though his solo stuff. That Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart is a really good song too. If you get a chance to listen to that, it's pretty cool. His solo stuff was always a little different than his a little easier, I guess. But I did like some of the stuff in Temple of the Dog and stuff like that too. But anyway,
yeah, I like I like Show Me How to Live from Audio Slave too.
Yeah, that's good too. Oh, I forgot about that.
He's always one of those bands. I mean, he's always, every time you look at a list of the top rock vocalists in the history of rock, Chris Cornell's always in that list. And usually pretty high up the list. He's got a really good voice, so
right.
Yeah, that it's a shame. That dude had a lot of time left. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure did.
Definitely talented. All right. So we'll go through a guy that's was through a little bit of a rough patch, right? Which is Gregg Allman. Passed away on May 27th. It's kind of funny. I like his music is really different. It's Southern rock. To me, it's Southern rock, obviously, but it's not
Southern rock blues, if you want to.
Yeah, it's not Leonard Skinner Southern rock. It's blues. No. It's definitely more blues stuff. And I've been listening to it, last couple of days a little bit, off and on, and for me, it's one of the albums that I have.
I'm sorry, Alan was coughing. He had a muted, but he's coughing his ass off. I'm like thinking that beard.
Have a stroke,
he's got a hairball. He's like a cat. Sorry. Is that how you keep it so nice? So you just kind of lick it and then kind of wipe it down.
Lick it up.
Your joke. Let's go. Sorry. It just hit me.
I got my chin all wet doing that. So I actually wrote down 3 songs for Gregg Allman, but my favorite.
So did I.
Yeah, my favorite Gregg Allman song is "I'm No Angel." It just, that song is, I think, just I
forgot all about that, actually.
A pretty song, and I had that album at one time, and I've been looking for it again, and I like that song. I think it's a really good song, and it's definitely a bluesy kind of thing, and
right.
I think that's why I like them so much. I do, I like the blues more than I really that type of blues stuff. Like,
Right.
Great White is real bluesy, and it's that
Yep.
similar kind of stuff. So I really do like that stuff. So there you go. That I'm No Angel's Mine from 1986.
But you had three.
I do.
Oh.
We're gonna do one, and then we'll talk about honorable.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's
okay,
what we
gotcha.
did a minute ago. Remember when you
Okay.
just went?
Well, my favorite Gregg Allman song, obviously, it's Allman Brothers Band, is "Whipping Post." Now I'm not so much into the blues, the bluesy type rock. I don't like the blues, but I do like the artists who are influenced by the blues. But this is a really bluesy song that I do really like.
So you like the blues?
I don't like
This
the blues. I like this blues, but I don't like all of the blues.
It makes me sad.
Which shade of blues do you like? Do you like the dark blues, the light blues?
I like blues that doesn't make me cry.
I like the burgundy blues.
The purples.
A light blue, kind of egg, robin egg blue.
Baby blue. What do you got, Dennis?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Alan on that one. I mean, Whipping Post is. I've only got two, but yeah, Whipping Post is I like that one a lot. I mean, that's a very soulful, deep from within singing on that. That's a great song.
What was the other one?
Dreams, which is actually
Oh, yeah.
was the Molly Hatchet. Actually, the Molly Hatchet version is better. I think his singing on that, Gregg Allman's singing on Dreams is a really good. I mean, it's really good. Molly Hatchet's the music and the playing and the construction of the song, they changed it just a tad. It's a lot slicker, because of course Allman Brothers Band, it's extremely hell. That was recorded in the '60s. Dreams were recorded in the late '60s, so it's very, it's really, and it sounds old. Molly's, Hatchet's more of a, that was 77, 76, whatever it was. So, but yeah, Dreams and so.
Yeah, the other songs I had were "Slip Away," which is a really bluesy song too. I like it too. And the other one, yeah, you have to look that up because I couldn't even tell you what album that's off of. It's on my playlist. I'm in my phone and I don't remember what album it's off of, but I like it. And the other one was Midnight Rider because really,
yeah, that's
Midnight
Rider.
It's Allman Brothers. It's kind of got to go with that.
Midnight Rider. I saw it too, and I was like, man, that's a good song, but I want to be a little bit different. So.
Yeah, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah,
I like it though.
Whipping Post.
My other two were Sweet Melissa and I'm No Angel.
Yeah, I like Sweet Melissa too. That's a good.
Yep.
Awesome.
So there's a Kiss connection there, right? Because
yeah, Gene and Greg had a little
tiff going on there, didn't he? Had a little share, between.
The share.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to share.
So anyway, it would have been what?
You have to think about sharing.
Gene actually got him after Greg, right?
I don't
married
think
to Gregg
so.
Allman. No, she was married to Gregg Allman before.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, now we're going to look stupid.
We don't need any help doing that.
No,
Damn, man.
I should have looked that up.
You should have looked that up. You know
You
better.
were the one. I didn't
Why
even
don't
think
you
about
look that up while Bill's
I'll
talking
look it
about
up.
the next one?
All right, so we're going to talk about the next one. So the next one on the list is the famous Chuck Berry. And, if you don't like Chuck Berry songs, you're probably got something wrong with you. I was going to go with that. Anyway, he died March 18th. And he is the godfather of rock. I mean, that dude is really. Would we have rock if it wasn't for Chuck Berry?
I don't think so. Well, we would have a different kind of rock because I think someone would have come up with something similar.
All right. Can I real quick?
Yes.
Cher married Gregg Allman in 1975. So Gene got some
after.
Gene got some seconds on that.
Oh no, Gene got 27.
Gene and her dated in the 80, 81.
80s. Yeah.
I think they were dating during the Unmasked era.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
But yeah, they were. But anyway, yeah. So
No,
75.
I think Dynasty was Diana Ross.
Oh, so anyway.
I think. All right, back to Chuck Berry.
Sorry, I was going to make sure we know.
So my My favorite Chuck Berry song is
Oh, they filed for divorce 9 days later.
Yes.
It was short.
But didn't they have a kiddo? They had a kid, right?
They've got a kid. The kid playing the guitar in the Cher video where she's almost naked and she's riding the
battleship?
the battleship thing.
Right.
That's Gregg Allman's son.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Sorry.
Now back to Chuck Berry.
Okay, Chuck Berry, please.
Okay, back to Chuck Berry. Okay, so my favorite Chuck Berry song is "Roll Over Beethoven."
Yeah.
It's just you hear that song and you gotta get going. It's cool. It's a cool song. So that's from 1956.
Yeah.
That's like
I went through a bunch of his songs, and you know what? They all kind of sound a little bit the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they start out.
Well, one.
So anyway,
Hang on, we're gonna change the words. See if they notice.
so Chuck Berry was the original AC/DC.
there you go.
Okay,
Exactly.
my favorite Chuck Berry song is Tulane, and the only reason that I even knew that song is because Joan Jett covered it. So I don't know when his version of the song came out, but I did go back and listen to it, and I mean, his version of the song, the only difference between theirs obviously is she's a she singing it, but you know it was recorded in 1987 or 1988. You know when the
Right.
what's the name of that album? It's got "I Hate Myself for Loving You" on it. Up your alley when that album came out.
Right.
But that's my favorite Chuck. Chuckles McBerry.
Chuck
Berry.
Chuck. The Chuckster.
Well, of course, everybody's, we got to give a shout out to Johnny B. Good just because it's that, but every guitar player that's ever played has played that lick or played it in the garage band at some point. But I don't want to hear it. But anyway,
I have not.
really. So
I've
as
never
far
played
as
that.
But as far as this song, Maybelline, I like that song a lot.
Yeah, I like Maybelline too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's my
that's-
number 2 on the list.
Because it's not. And there's another one called Sweet Little 16 that's really good. And there's an instrumental that I found called Gun that's really good. And it's funny because they got a slow and a fast version of it.
Huh.
And it's a lot. It's
No,
fairly.
you just the first time you played it on 33, and the second time you played it on
Go-
35.
If you go on Spotify on his complete recordings from 1950 something to 19, there's 3 versions of it. There's a slow and a fast and something else. I guess the normal,
Medium.
but medium, yeah. Speed metal version. But no, but it's pretty heavy harmonica too, so it's not really a guitar. But I do like the lick. It's just something different. It's not the typical Chuck Berry thing. But Maybelline, I like that song a lot.
Okay, so what was the only number 1 song Chuck Berry had?
My Ding-a-Ling.
Yeah, which is a remake.
It
is a remake.
And it's a stupid song.
But man,
It was on every comedy album that you ever got as a kid. Remember all those those ones with all the the funny stuff, like Dr. Demento type songs.
Yeah.
That was always one of them on there, like My Ding-a-Ling. Won't you play with my Ding-a-Ling?
So oh, Bill, have you said your other?
Yeah, that
Chuck
was
Berry
that was
songs
the
yet?
only thing I was going to say. Yeah. Go ahead.
My other 2 Chuck Berry songs are Maybelline and Johnny B. Good.
Yeah. So I had Maybelline on my list, so I didn't see anything.
And Judas Priest covered that song.
And it was a terrible cover.
It was pretty
Really?
bad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did it for that movie. It was Anthony Hall's movie where he was a football player, kid going to play football. It was
Anthony
actually
Michael Hall.
Yeah,
Really?
Anthony Michael Hall, and he was going
I
to
don't
play
remember that.
football for this college, and actually had Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Well, well, of course it did. Those movies in the
But
80s.
anyway,
only 4 people were in every movie.
They recorded that song for that movie.
Oh, huh. I didn't remember that.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Had no idea. All right, the next guy we're going to talk about is somebody we probably don't know much about, but it's from a band that's great, which is from Boston. Boston, the drummer Sib Hashin.
Right.
He died March 22nd. So, my favorite song, actually, and I really kind of went back and listened to some songs and listened for the drumming piece just to kind of pull it out since he was the drummer guy. The drumming on Foreplay, which is the preamble for
Right.
Long Time, Man, that dude was killing it. If you go back and listen to the drumming part, man, it was really some good stuff. I mean, I was impressed.
So did he have an extra pair of drumsticks in that big hair of his?
He must have had something going on. That dude was going on.
He had the 70s fro.
He had it rolling.
I mean, he had a fro that would make anybody go, damn, that's a nice fro. Seriously. He had the hair that was
damn nice fro.
It is a nice fro. Go ahead, Alan. You're next.
The very first pick that I had was Foreplay a Long Time.
That's mine too. Because of that drum. Since we went with him, I had to find something that was drum. Yeah, that's mine too. Foreplay Long Time. Is that kind of like Love Me Long Time? Love Me Long Time. Foreplay Long Time.
I think so. Foreplay Long Time. Yeah.
Okay. What?
You spend a lot of alone time?
Worst joke you have ever tried to make.
Well, I'm trying,
You should know.
Bill had the funniest one so far tonight, but we had to cancel it.
Well, it wasn't a joke. I said something and I didn't realize what I'd said in context of what we were talking about. And
you're a comic genius. Anyway,
it was bad. Oh, it was. Somebody should have went too soon. That would have been.
Okay, let's go.
That would have been. All right. We're down. We got two more left here. We're going to get off here. All right. So the next one is we're going to talk about Glen Campbell.
And we're getting at, actually, these next two are going to be just tough. These are the two toughest ones.
Really tough. I mean, and actually, so Glen Campbell, who died on August 8th, if you've not seen the documentary I'll Be Me, you've got to watch that. That is an incredible documentary.
And get yourself a box of tissues.
If you can watch that without crying your eyes out,
I'm telling you,
you're not a human. You're not a human. You're not a human. Dude, I think I've told this story on here before, but I watched that one night sitting on my golf cart out in the garage, and I'm watching it it was on CNN. Actually, they were the first ones to actually show that show. And I'm watching that, and I walk into the house to go get a bottle of water. I'm like, Kelly's like, what's wrong with you? You been crying? I said, yeah. It's the saddest thing. I've been bawling my eyes out. I'm going, I just take a break, man. It's just terrible.
It's true. It is true, though.
It is.
But it's a really good movie, and for somebody who has Alzheimer's disease, it really gives you a really a good view of what their family's going.
And you know what? Really, I have a lot of respect for his family, his wife, his daughter, and for him to agree to do this documentary, because not only is it a documentary to show Glen Campbell, his final part of his career. Look at what it does for for families that are dealing with Alzheimer's. I mean, it's just it's just a fantastic show. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic for the fact of what it does. I mean, it
was well put together.
It's well done. Yeah, very well done.
Super, yeah. I've got it on DVD, so.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Glen Campbell got his start on the Wrecking Crew, and we've talked about that before. We did a show back year ago, probably, with the Wrecking Crew, which is a group of studio musicians back in the 60s and early 70s that played on just about every damn thing that was created. And there's a movie. Hey, I've seen that movie. So if you're interested, you can go back and listen to our interview with
Denny
Tedesco, who actually produced.
This is still sealed yet. I haven't even opened this up.
Produced that movie. So anyway, it's a really good movie. And he became an artist actually, by accident. It being part of that, and then now you've got the album too. Look at that. And there was a demo they needed to do. They didn't have anybody do the demo for the singing part. They asked him to do it. He said, sure, he'd do it. And then the next thing you know, he's got a television show. And when he talks about it, that's kind of what he talks about. He just didn't know how it happened. And then he became Glen Campbell, and everybody knows who he is. But it was just, he was in the country thing, and he had a rough life for a while, and got into some, stuff that most artists do. And, but
Tanya Tucker and cocaine.
Jack you up.
Jack you up hard.
jack you up hard. There you go. But he's got a great family and stuff now. So, actually, my what I listed as my favorite song was "I'm Not Gonna Miss You," which was from the movie.
From that movie, yeah.
Yeah, which he wrote, and it was. It's.
I see you get misty already, dude.
Yeah, it's hard. It's tough. I mean, I listened to it earlier, and I was in the living room. I'm like wiping stuff off. It's just one of those songs that when you listen to it, and you know the context of it, and you know what he's going through, and you can hear his voice is not what it should be. It's like that that was what he was going through with his family. It just really is. It's gripping. It really is gripping. Yeah. So I don't have a problem losing it a little bit. I'm an emotional guy. That's the way it works for me.
That's awesome.
You know, I always said music is about emotion. So that if you have not heard that song, go look at you can look at the soundtrack for that show, and I think that's the first song.
It's on Spotify or any of the.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good song, and it really is.
I'll go to YouTube, but you can find it. So, yeah.
The Wrecking Crew episode was episode number 63.
Oh, cool. There you go.
So
wow, that's
damn. We got some facts. What the hell's up with that?
I just went back on our YouTube channel until I
fact finder. That's why some of these podcasts have people that just do fact checking. What the hell?
Yeah, that requires
time for that shit.
All right, my favorite Glen Campbell song is "Rhinestone Cowboy." It is the earliest favorite song I can remember ever having. You know,
cool.
Of course, you know, in 1975, I had no idea who Glen Campbell was, or that they had people who sang these songs that really had names. I just remember hearing the songs on the radio.
That was a huge song.
It was a huge song.
My sister had the. Actually, we went to the store that day, and I bought Captain and Tennille's "Love Will Keep Us Together," and she bought "Rhinestone Cowboy."
You know, I'm gonna have to go back and look and see if "Rhinestone Cowboy" was ever performed on Hee Haw.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
Sure it was.
It had to have been.
I would think so.
He was on there quite a bit.
But I had to get the Hee Haw reference in there before one of you idiots did.
There you go.
He had his own show too, so he might not have been on Hee Haw as much. I don't know. We have to go back and look.
Oh.
We should have fact checked that, shouldn't we?
Hey, listeners, was
fact
Glen
checker.
Campbell on Hee Haw?
You don't have any listeners that even like Hee Haw. What the hell is that?
What do you got, Dennis?
Well, man, I tell you what, with Glen, like I said, these last two were tough. I mean, I have so many favorites. I mean, Glen did everything he did was great, and I've got it down to two, my two favorites. But I have to say, Wichita Lineman is my favorite song by him. I mean, it's just, I just love that song. I mean, his voice, he was real young at the time. That is another one of the Wrecking Crew. Of course, it's got the violent, it's got some orchestrated, parts to it. It's a great song. It's just one of my favorites.
What was your other one?
Gentle on My Mind.
Bam!
Oh yeah,
Gentle on My Mind. Yeah. Because the guitar picking in that song, I could go through and give you 100 instrumentals that I could like listen to. I mean, there's a plethora of just name a Glen Campbell song. I was like, yeah, that's a great song. Yeah, that's a great song. And I'm not mistaken. Did he not write? Shit, my brain's locked up. Keep talking for a second, but I want to see.
All right, so my second one on my list was the one I had here was Southern Nights. I think it's a cool song.
That's the number one. That's the number one on Spotify, and I do like that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Actually.
Yeah. So that was my favorite song, other than the "I'm Not Gonna Miss You." So
yeah, Southern Nights was my number 2, and "Gentle on My Mind" was my number 3.
And you're right. It was hard, man. I tell you, when we start talking here a few minutes about Tom Petty, it was. I'm sitting there going, I gotta find one. I can't find one.
It is so tough.
So it's interesting. We went to the spectrum, right? So we started with Bennington, which we found. I talked about the one song, and we're going to end up with Tom Petty, where we can't find enough.
Galveston.
Yeah, Galveston was another song that I actually had written down at one point.
But let's see. By the time I get to Phoenix, that's another good.
Yeah,
but no, he wrote a lot. He wrote a lot.
His playing. I mean, you could. There's a couple of those guys. that you could just listen to play. I just play. I want to hear you play because it's picking and that kind of stuff. It's at him and Chet Atkins and some of those guys that
Right.
they just played and they played
Roy
beautifully.
Clark.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Very much.
it's
So.
also hard to find out the ones that he actually wrote because he just sang a lot of songs that were popular at the time. He just would record.
Yeah.
You look through
he
his
did a lot of
albums.
co-
I mean,
he
he's
did a lot
got
of covers.
buku albums. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, what a guy. And the thing wasn't too real quick, for the people who didn't see you should go back and watch the Wrecking Crew thing. And if you haven't seen the Wrecking Crew, Glen Campbell was, like I said, a studio musician who, unlike most of the other people in that studio who could read sheet music and everything else, he couldn't read sheet music. He basically went in there and just said, well, "This is what we're playing. Okay, this is what it sounds like. Okay, and he winged it a lot." And that's one thing that Tommy Tedesco was talking about, or Denny was talking about his dad, saying about Tommy, saying that he was just an incredible player because he just go, okay, and he just pick it up and boom, record it, first time out the boat, out the gate. So, anyway.
Cool. All right, our last person, we've mentioned it already, is Tom Petty, who passed away just on the 2nd of October. Tom Petty's one of those guys that I always liked his music. Never really went to see him. Never got to see him live. I always thought, I'm going to go the next time he's here. I'm going to go the next time he's here. I'm going to go the next time he's here. So this year when he was here, and I knew it was, that was going to be his final tour. He had talked about, he was going to retire from touring, and I said something to Noah about going, and I really couldn't find anybody that really wanted to go. And I'm like, man, I really would like to go. On the day of the day before the show. Well, it was like on a Thursday. It was a weird day.
Well, then
I think it was. And 2 days before the show, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy myself a lawn ticket and just go. And it was sold out. So it didn't matter whether I wanted to go or not. But Tom, actually I've been listening to the Greatest Hits album, which my gosh. Really? 16 songs. Just do those 16 songs and walk off.
Right.
There's others. There's a few others, but really that's
right.
So my favorite Tom Petty song though is "You Wrecked Me." I just that to me is just a cool song. All of his songs. I've been listening to him for the last few days, and it's just like, damn, every one of those songs are really, really good. I couldn't find one I didn't like. Really, it was just amazing. But
That's funny.
"You Wrecked Me" is my favorite. Yeah.
"You Wreck Me" is my number 2, and it's also in my acoustic playlist.
Oh, really?
That's
cool.
That's a fun song to play. It's a fun song to sing, and it's just a really, really good song. But my favorite Tom Petty song is "Refugee." It's the first Tom Petty song I ever remember hearing. I've known it since I was a little kid, and it's just badass. Now, what's funny is Saturday night, before the local news came on, they aired the first episode of Saturday Night Live that Tom Petty was ever on, and "Refugee" was one of the songs he did back in 1979.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So what's yours, Dennis?
I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't. Breakdown, babe. Breakdown is the song, dude.
That's also in my acoustic playlist.
I love that song. That's just, it's just not only his voice. I just like the way it's just really raw, and that simple guitar work that's in there, and that little bit of keyboard behind it. Breakdown I had a hard time because I had this one and my other song that I like too much is "American Girl," which comes off. Both of those came off the same album. I'm a huge Tom Petty early albums, Damn the Torpedoes and the stuff. Not big on the newer stuff. I don't know. It's not bad. Mary Jane was probably one of the last songs that I really, really liked. Running Down the Dream, maybe. But his early stuff, the stuff that he did in the 70s, is my favorite stuff. He Just Got Lucky. Love that song.
You Got Lucky.
Or You Got Lucky, sorry.
Just Got Lucky is a Dawkins song.
It's Dawkins song, which is another cool song, too.
Which is a very good song. We'll talk about that, too, someday.
But no, Tom had and of course, with the traveling
wildebeest, the traveling wildebeest.
I saying wildeberries, and no, the traveling wilburys. He had that.
Wheelbarrows. What?
But I just, and of course the Stevie Nicks song that he did. I have a
Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
Right, which our band does. But one thing I do like about that, I've got a box set from the library years ago that I I borrowed, and of course then burnt it to my iTunes. You can do that. That's legal to do that. But there is a early version. Well, hey, you work at the library. What if I came in there?
You're going to jail. I'm like, you just committed like a crime, you dumbass.
No. I got it loaned from the library, and I put it on my computer.
And you stole it.
Moving on.
Yeah,
my second pick was
no, but anyway, that song there on that box set that I got from them, there was there's a version of that before he put Stevie Nicks on there, just him singing it, and it's actually kind of cool. It's not, the music's a tad different, and just having him sing the whole thing and having the not Stevie Nicks on there,
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, look it up. It's downtown's where I got it from, so you can at downtown Evansville. So I actually got it. I'll get you a copy of it. I don't care. Send the government here.
You're stealing money from a dead guy.
Well, I've already got the IRS after me now after the John Regan interview, because I was saying I wasn't getting any 1099s on my band stuff. I was getting cash, so I'm just lining them up.
Wow.
Get everybody.
Okay, just so you guys are aware, this will be Dennis's last episode.
I'll have bars in front of my
His
screen.
next episode will be live from Folsom Prison. Him and Johnny Cash will be doing There you go. All right, so two other songs that I had picked is "Learning to Fly," which I think listening to the words of that song, it's really about growing up and getting out there and spreading your wings. And the other one is "Change of Heart," and I like the
Change of Heart. Where's that on? Is that on?
I don't.
Early or late?
It's on the greatest hits album that I have. So
okay, all right.
But "Change of Heart's the other song that I like, and if you hear it, you'll go, yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I know.
See, but and it's a little bit slower paced, but I like his voice on that. So that's my other one.
Cool.
Do you have some other ones, Alan?
Well, we've already talked about "You Wreck Me." My number 3 pick was "You Got Lucky."
Yeah.
Of course, I have
Not just got lucky.
I have to give a shout out to "Don't Come Around Here No More" just for the top hat.
I love that song.
That video is just so messed up.
It is.
And I guess that for the longest time after they shot that video, every time he would go out in public, supposedly people would ask where his hat is.
That is a big deal, wasn't it?
It was a big deal, I guess.
That's something for, Tom Petty is not the best looking, or wasn't the best looking man in rock and roll, but he used MTV to the maximum amount. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As far as videos and stuff like, he started out, with "You Got Lucky." Remember that video where it was kind of, they were out in the middle of the desert, kind of like this Mad Max kind of thing. And he's done.
I don't know that I've ever seen that one.
Anyway, he did a lot of early videos, but then, like I said, he kind of got into where his videos were kind of like little stories, and he used MTV or not just MTV, but just music video to his
right.
He used it to its advantage. There you go.
All right, there's the book on episode number 94. Closed,
just like my Kiss book, who's still closed.
There you go, still sealed up. So we want to invite people to go back and check out episode number 63, which is the Wrecking Crew video, or episode, right, so that you can hear more about our interview with Denny Tedesco. Mm-hmm. And make sure you check us out on the www.agesofrock.com, on our Twitter page, Facebook page, Stitcher Radio, leave us Instagram, leave us some
get on the iTunes and leave us a 5-star review.
Get on the Google.
We need that. We need it. I challenge everybody on here. Go to Target, or anytime you're in one of the Target or the Apple Store, any of those kind of places, and set the homepage for agesofrock.com. I do it all the time. It drives people crazy. I did it at Best Buy the other day, and the guy goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm changing your homepage." I did it right. The sales rep stood right in front. He goes, "That's pretty cool." And I said, "Check it out, man.
Here's my card."
There you go. So, yep. So anyway. There you go. That's the episode for this week, and we will see you later.
Peace out.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.